The idea of an electric car priced so low that almost anyone could afford it sounded impossible a few years ago. Yet Elon Musk has now openly confirmed the target price for the Tesla Model 2, expressing complete confidence in its design and the engineering behind it. He praised the team responsible for the vehicle, calling the design exceptionally refined, which makes people wonder what exactly Tesla has created for just a little over $10,000. How can a car at this price deliver genuine value in daily life rather than just cutting corners? What did Tesla do inside the Model 2 that makes it feel so different from typical compact EVs? Quietly, behind the scenes, the company has crafted a driving experience that mixes the crisp, connected handling of a Porsche 911 with the flowing, elegant lines of a Jaguar F-Type. It results in a small, affordable car that somehow still manages to feel athletic, composed, and surprisingly luxurious for its size and price point. People naturally want to know how this is even possible. How can the spirit of high-end performance cars be distilled into something that costs less than many high-spec bikes in Los Angeles? Tesla accomplished this by applying what they describe internally as scaled dynamics. Instead of simply copying the performance metrics of sports cars, they scaled key principles of the 911's low polar moment of inertia and the F-Type's long, sweeping proportions into a format suitable for an ultra-efficient compact EV. Their goal was to drop rotational inertia by around 10 to 15% compared with similar small cars, delivering steering that feels sharp and responsive without introducing the jumpy unpredictability that often plagues sports sedans when driven by normal commuters merging into heavy I-95 traffic. A major part of this effort comes down to how Tesla distributes weight. Engineers aimed for a balance that lands close to 48% in the front and 52% in the rear, a slight rear bias that gives the steering a neutral, confident feel similar to a Porsche, while still allowing predictable behavior for drivers who simply want to run errands without dealing with twitchy reactions. They were able to achieve this by shifting battery modules slightly toward the rear and adjusting the front subframe mass with carefully calculated structural elements amounting to about 55 pounds of precisely placed material. None of this was trial and error. Every piece was positioned intentionally to influence how the car rotates and settles into a corner. Tesla also stretched the wheelbase relative to other compact cars. Estimates suggest an increase of about 6 to 12 inches compared with the typical vehicles in its size class. This improves ride stability on long highway drives, especially appealing to older drivers who frequently travel across places like Arizona while still keeping the front and rear overhangs short enough to maintain tight maneuverability. In dense city parking areas in states like New York or California, they wanted the dimensions to feel natural for how Americans actually use their vehicles every day, and they built those proportions accordingly. Suspension tuning reveals another layer of strategic engineering. Tesla merged Porsche-like progressive anti-roll geometry, which resists body lift when the vehicle corners, with Jaguar-inspired multi-link tuning, known for absorbing road imperfections smoothly. They softened the springs by roughly 15% compared with a hard-edged performance setup. Then they bumped up the anti-roll bar stiffness by about 10% to maintain stability without the harsh ride quality found in many sporty vehicles. The end result is a suspension system that stays composed during highway cruising yet cushions the car effectively. When it hits a deep pothole on a late-night drive through Chicago, the steering system is similarly. Tesla opted for a steering ratio that is roughly 10% quicker than most affordable compact cars. But the company added software-based damping to smooth out sudden movements. That means lane changes on fast Texas highways feel confident, while small corrections, like when backing into one of those extremely tight parking spots in New York, feel gentle and controlled. The steering won't unexpectedly resist or overreact. It anticipates human behavior and adjusts itself accordingly. Aerodynamics play a much bigger role in range and stability than people realize. Instead of adopting dramatic, downforce-heavy sports car shapes that consume battery power, Tesla targeted a drag coefficient between 0.22 and 0.24. They incorporated subtle aerodynamic features at the rear of the car to reduce lift and increase stability at higher speeds. On a typical 200-mile trip along the coast of California at 65 miles per hour, lowering drag from 0.26 to around 0.23 can save 8 to 12% in energy consumption. For drivers, especially retirees traveling across places like Florida, those extra miles could determine whether they reach the next charger without anxiety. The interior quietly takes cues from Jaguar's philosophy of tactile design. Thicker door pulls and a lower dashboard line create a sense of comfort and quality. Tesla used carefully shaped foam and cost-effective synthetic leather, alternatives to recreate the feeling of high-end materials without the premium price. Your hands wouldn't notice the difference between extremely expensive leather and much cheaper alternatives when the texture, density, and firmness match within a few millimeters. Tesla studied what makes prestigious sports cars emotionally appealing: the confidence, the grace, the instant responsiveness, and then built those sensations into an EV designed for everyday people. Every curve of the structure, every gram of weight placement, was chosen to evoke the same emotional satisfaction drivers feel when they steer a luxury performance car through a clear stretch of road that the company invites drivers to reflect on what matters most in a budget-friendly performance electric vehicle. Is it razor-sharp steering connection? Is it plush suspension comfort that handles real-world road conditions? Or is it aerodynamic efficiency that stretches every mile of battery range without compromising stability? These priorities expose what drivers actually care about, as opposed to what automakers assume they want. But even with all this engineering effort, none of it matters if the doors become a daily frustration. Tesla faced a seemingly impossible challenge: integrating Falcon Wing doors, something famously expensive and difficult, into a car costing under $11,000. The Model X nearly pushed the company into financial disaster because of how complex its door system was. So how could they get a similar feature into a budget car without repeating past mistakes? The answer lies in focusing on genuine usefulness instead of showmanship. Conventional doors require space to swing outward, which becomes a problem in narrow parking lots. They can also make it harder for older adults or people carrying groceries to get in and out. Tesla wanted a solution that makes daily life smoother. Falcon Wing doors, when simplified and optimized, could provide that benefit. They offer an estimated 16 to 24 inches of extra shoulder room when entering the vehicle. For someone with back pain, or for a parent loading a child into the back seat, that extra space makes an enormous difference. Tesla dramatically simplified the mechanical design compared with the Model X. Instead of an intricate multi-axis fully motorized system, the Model 2 uses a hybrid approach combining a single electric motor with a mechanical counterbalance and dampers. Inspired by lightweight aircraft door mechanisms, this slashes motor torque needs by around 60% and cuts part count by roughly 40%. They replaced expensive aluminum components with strong stamped steel reinforced with composite materials, reducing door costs by roughly 30 to 45%. Electronic controls were simplified into a single module. This keeps the additional cost per door in the low hundreds of dollars, instead of the thousands required for the Model X. Weight was also kept under control. Engineers used hollow structural sections and optimized door skins so that each door stayed within 26 to 40 pounds. This prevents the doors from raising the car's center of gravity, a crucial factor for handling balance. Standardizing actuators across multiple Tesla models further reduces repair and replacement costs, something that budget-conscious owners and seniors living on fixed incomes will appreciate. Safety and usability were equally important. The door opening height allows passengers to step out more comfortably without twisting awkwardly. The sealing system around the door minimizes water intrusion, keeping the cabin dry even in intense rain conditions, such as those often experienced in Florida. Imagine being squeezed between two large pickup trucks in a crowded Texas supermarket parking lot. Instead of struggling with a traditional door that might hit the vehicle next to you, a simple button press gently lifts the door straight upward. No dents, no tight squeezes, just easy access. These are the everyday conveniences that make the model to feel designed around real people rather than cost spreadsheets, of course. Even a premium-feeling door is meaningless if the underlying structure is compromised. Gigacasting, the process of building major sections of a vehicle in single massive aluminum castings, was supposed to transform manufacturing forever. It's offering speed, precision, and cost savings. But early prototypes produced a serious problem. The car felt strangely stiff and exhibited odd vibration patterns that even Tesla's engineers struggled to explain. For 3 long years, this issue persisted, threatening T.